Hello, everybody, and welcome back to DJ Tutorials. This is DJ Responds number 2, and I'm going to try and do these intermittently as the channel grows, and kind of give you an update of what's going on in the channel and respond to some of the comments that I'm seeing on the channel, so that everybody kind of can get something back from me. So first, I'd like to say I'm pretty happy with what's been going on. This channel's growing a lot faster than I thought it would. I have currently, or we have, 79 subscribers. If we get to 100, I will do a special video for everybody, which has been requested. So if we get it up to 100, uh, you will see that video being produced. I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet, but just it's a challenge for you guys to get us up to 100 subscribers. Now, the most popular video on the channel so far is the Radeon Prorender Engine plugin for Blender Crash Course for Beginners and Pros. I'm happy with that. There's a lot of views, but there's a problem, sort of a double-edged sword here. As soon as I release this, there was a new version of ProRender that was made. A lot of the things in here are very, similar, and you can learn it, and that's all fine. But as the comment here says, the pinned comment, there are some changes. So make sure that you take a look at this and you actually watch the video that I made right here, Radeon ProRender 2.4, May 11th release, because it goes over some new things that are inside of the program. So I'm not going to tell you all that stuff and do the details because then there'd be no reason to watch this video, but make sure that you watch this video. And then the other thing is, and this has 300 views, which is all right, but really everybody who watched the other one really should be watching this one because there's quite a few issues that you're going to find and some bugs, but also some really, really great things like the texture baking and stuff like that. But in this one here, this only has 35 views, and at least if you're a person who's subscribed to this channel, you probably like my render engine comparisons, and you might be trying to use ProRender for projects. You need to watch this video if you're trying to do an animation. I tried to make the little JPEGy or the image to be as clickbaity as possible, not just because I want people to watch it for more views, but because you need to know what's going on in order to actually render out an animation. Otherwise, you're going to find your computer is going to hard crash, most likely constantly every 15 to 20 frames. So please, please, please watch this video so that you know what's going on and you don't blame me for a project that goes under or overhead or having to change your entire scene or render it with cycles that takes way faster or something like that. Please watch this video. I know it's 20 minutes long, but you really need to see this and to understand what's going on. One other thing I want to mention, in most of my videos, if you open up the description, you're going to find jump to sections. I know a lot of people like to click around, just like I do inside of these tutorial videos and stuff like that. I will provide you the locations for all the most important stuff right here. So jump to the quick fix, for example, for this one, explanation of the issues, and custom Python script, and all that. So all of the videos that actually are quite a bit longer, they have something like this. So make sure that you are aware of that and that you check out those descriptions. And hopefully that will help you pinpoint the area that you really need to get information for. Another thing I want to talk about is my the Blender Beginners course. This is on part 6 right now, as of actually, the part 6 is going to be released tomorrow, Friday. But basically, this whole series, if you're a kind of pro level, intermediate, and especially beginner, and just to talk about like how I do my tutorials, this is really what I want to do. The Blender comparison videos, it seems like I get a lot of views for those and all that. That's fine, and it's really helpful for a lot of people to see how these engines work. But this channel, I really want to teach people about how to make things to look realistic and to like sort of bridge the gap between the soft skills of understanding how color composition is done, how the visual composition is done, the aesthetic and basic art practices, and understanding how that's all done. Along with the hard skills of learning how to actually put things in there and how to like use the system. So I really appreciate this person's comment here. I cannot pronounce this because I don't speak that language, and I appreciate your comment. Um, yes, and I'm glad that you could see this. Uh, I agree that you know everyone should learn the soft and hard skills of doing 3D because there are a lot of channels out there that go into some basic stuff. There's a lot of clickbaity stuff too that just teach you like a quick tip and stuff like that, and they get a lot of views, and that's all fine, and that's kind of their bread and butter for a paid channel or whatever. But to me, it kind of like defeats the purpose of actually teaching people how to use this program and how to create art. So this is like an example of the kinds of things that I really want to focus on with this channel, which is how to create um, these realistic compositions and to get the best looking stuff you possibly can so you can actually make a portfolio. There's a lot of really good channels like Grant Abbott's channel that will, show you some details on certain things in gaming, objects and all that. But I find that in general, there's a lack of um, courses to actually teach people, thoroughly how to make a realistic, good looking, portfolio ready piece that gets you to think about your composition and for you to make something unique all on your own and to create a portfolio for yourself. So if you are a subscriber or just a person watching this video and you haven't seen this video series or course series, just play it in the background if anything, just to listen for anything that you may have missed or that you don't know about and you could learn from. And especially if you're a beginner, I know that they're long. They're like 20 to 30 minutes per one per um, video, but you're going to learn a lot. And by the end of this whole series, you're going to learn about how to make better objects, better materials, better lighting, and you're going to learn how to render a scene in 3 different engines, possibly 4. I may throw the LuxCore engine in there as well. And you'll be able to really understand a beginner's level, even to an intermediate level of understanding of how these systems work. Another thing that I did for you guys is I did a scene breakdown. It's only got 30 views. That's fine. It's not for everybody, but basically what this does is it goes through the animation uh, how I made the animation for the animation comparisons video and how I composited it together using Natron and created this more finalized look. So if you haven't seen this yet, I strongly recommend it because it will really teach you about the bits and pieces of creating a finalized CGI render that is something that you can actually use for a portfolio when applying for a job or trying to get a job for a client. Another thing I wanted to touch on before I get to some more of the comments is that the I do have a series that will help answer some questions for you guys. If you're coming to my channel and you want to know what the best computer is to get for you, um, I'm not going to give you a straight answer. You actually should watch this whole series or listen to it if you can in the background. And what it does is it goes through in detail the components of your computer and how you can choose different components and build it later using different builder sites or something like that, or if you want to do it yourself. I don't show you how to do it yourself, but I tell you like, what components you may want to get and why. And I also go into a Mac versus PC thing in the understanding your computer build suggestions. So if you're especially like, I cannot stress this enough. If you're a person who uses Mac products, you need to watch this video series because if you're getting it for specifically because there's something on Mac that is not offered anywhere else, I understand that. But even if you're only getting a Mac because of the user interface and the operating system, you need to watch this series so that you can understand what you're missing. You can get a much better build for your computer for the dollar, and I go into that in detail in some of these videos. So I recommend this. I know it's not for everybody. It's a little dry. It's only got like a few views, and that sucks for me. But for you, I really would recommend that you at least just listen to it so that you understand what's going on with your computer, why your computer might be slow in calculating certain things, and what you can do to possibly make it faster and better for you as a content creator. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the comments here. If we take a look at the one with the most views, there are some in here that are talking about some, let's see here, some of these issues. black screen and stuff like that, make sure that you check out the system requirements, and that if you're running into a lot of issues and errors and black screens and stuff like that using ProRender, you need to check the system requirements page and the release notes to see if what you have is actually supported by the engine. So that's going to be the first thing that I ask. Other than that, I'm going to do my best to help you out. And if if it's needed for your particular scene and you're having trouble, I may give you my email address that you can send your Blender file to so that I can check it out. So, um, please, if you have issues, let me know and I can help you out. I'm more than happy to do that. There's another comment in here that talks about Cinema 4D. I know that there are, multiple plugin types for different render or for different systems like Cinema 4D and Maya and stuff like that. I don't use Cinema 4D. I just don't, and I'm sorry that I can't help you. And especially for Mac OS, I don't use Mac. Um, but if anybody else wants to reply to this person and let them know what's going on, please do that so that they can see uh, what's going on with this. I will say that if this channel gets to the point where, um, it's a monetized channel, and I'm able to kind of do this more without sacrificing my extra time working with other clients and my full time job. I'm more than willing to buy a Mac just to show people how to do stuff on a Mac if that's what people really want. But that's far down the road. So if you're the kind of person who wants that, um, great. Share the channel. Suggest it to people. Share it anywhere that you can, and eventually, I may buy a Mac just to show people how to do stuff on there. It wouldn't be my choice, but it is what it is. One more thing before we go, I just want to touch briefly about some of the folks that are commenting on the channel. There are some folks who look like they are from outside the US and English may be their second language, which I'm totally fine with. Just a little background on myself. When I was working in VFX in the industry, I was a creative manager of sorts, and I helped to do major training in Toronto, Canada, and for a studio that was in Mumbai, India, and spent a long time in both places to help build those studios. So it's not something that I'm new with this language barrier thing. Just keep in mind that there might be a little bit of back and forth for me to figure out what you're trying to tell me is the issue. This person in particular, Hussein Gaming, I'm going to do my best to help you out. It just seems like there's a little bit of a language barrier with some of the ways that you're providing me some information. So uh, just try if you can, if you know somebody who can help translate or something like that to help give you a good response so I can understand what you're saying. Please do that. Otherwise, there might be a point where I just can't help because I just am not sure what the issue might be. So that's going to be it for this response video. Please feel free to leave any comments here on what you would like to see in the future and where you would like to see the channel to go and what you're really looking forward to. I'm planning on making some more tutorial series for beginners after the rest of the geometric compositions one is done. So if you want to see something in particular, please leave a comment on what you'd like to see. I will not be covering character builds and sculpts and stuff like that. I may release some very fastly sped up sculpts that I've done just so you can see my process and how I'm developing my skills with sculpting characters and stuff like that. But I'm not going to really be going into that because that's where a lot of people run into a lot of problems because they don't understand the basics of the software and they don't understand the basics of creating a piece of art. So if there's something in particular that you'd like to see that no one else has done yet, that's more of a basic sort of concept that you want to see done in realism and to really see how to use the render engines and use the software to create that kind of thing, leave a comment on what you'd like to see. And I will see you guys next time on DJ Tutorials.